Breaking news, the SEC has just changed everything you know about altcoins for the rest of this cycle, but only a few of them. Now, started with this news, but this is just scratching the surface. SEC approved Grayscale's digital large cap fund for trading, which includes these 5 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. Now, this is going to be the first multi-asset crypto ETP that has been approved by US regulators. Now, when you dive into their SEC application here, buried on page 7, you'll see that the different breakdowns for the different cryptocurrencies is going to be 80% Bitcoin, 11% ETH, 3% Solana, about 5% XRP, and about 1% for Cardano. So to me, the big winner for the altcoins is going to be XRP here. But like I said, this was just scratching the surface on what the SEC actually did. Because the bigger news is the SEC approved generic listing standards. This is going to allow exchanges to list commodity-based ETPs, which is kind of like an ETF, maybe a little bit less rules, including cryptocurrencies without individual reviews. But what are these specific generic listing standards? There's one in particular that is very important. One of the criteria for this listing standard is going to be the underlying crypto asset must have a CFTC regulated futures contract listed on a designated contract market. CFTC is another government regulatory body, and the DCM is basically a framework. Now, someone has been following this framework. That someone is Coinbase Derivatives. So Coinbase followed these rules of the road that were kind of vaguely mentioned by the CFTC, but now these are the main rules of the road. They have planted the speed limit sign and said, if you follow this DCM framework, you are good to drive on the highway. Well, Coinbase has been following these rules, so they're good to go on the highway to Bulltown. But the larger question is, what coins are on these Coinbase derivatives? And again, to reiterate, they've unlocked the door for these altcoin ETFs. They approved this new generic listing standard. So now, if a coin has future tradings on Coinbase, it's eligible for the fast track launch. Any alts with pending applications are now worth watching closely. So let's look at those particular alts. Now, this post from the senior ETF analyst from Bloomberg, Eric Balchunas, and James Seifert, also an ETF analyst at Bloomberg, sums it up right here. If you're on a regulated exchange, i.e. Coinbase derivative, for 6 months, it will be allowed to become a spot ETF. Why? Because Coinbase Derivatives is a DCM. So Eric has posted a list straight from Coinbase's website. Here's the list of all coins that have futures on Coinbase. So now we're going to give you the 14 coins that have been approved by the US regulators. Bitcoin is number 1, then we have ETH. After that, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Dogecoin. So now we're at 5. So these 5 so far have been given the green light, but we got 9 more. Polkadot, Shiba Inu, Avalanche, Chainlink, and XLM. Okay, now we're really cooking. Keep scrolling down. Solana, HBAR, Cardano, and XRP to round out the list. Now we're going to be doing some more deep dives, some individual deep dive videos on these altcoins. So tell me in the comments below, which altcoin do you want to see the deep dive on? We'll do some chart analysis. We'll see what an ETF impact could be for this particular altcoin. And I'll just end with this sentiment right here. You aren't bullish enough. This is from Tyler Durden. Last bull market, people were buying land in the metaverse for more than the price of land in New York. Trust me, you are not bullish enough. So you aren't bullish enough. So smash that like button if you feel like you are bullish. I'm Deezy for Discover Crypto. I'll see you and your 14 coins at the top.